Hey everybody, it's Angel from Halo Inspirations. We give you inspirations to help you spread beauty and joy through your quilting journey. Happy hump day. Whoop whoop. Happy Wednesday to each of you. So glad you stopped by. All right, so what are we doing today? Well, I want to tell you, I've had a couple of people ask me how to use that homemade spray base. You know, I did the video. I'll put a link. It'll be over here. I'll put a link for that video on. I demonstrated how to make it, and there's also a recipe done for you. I'll put the link for the recipe to get the recipe down below if you're interested. However, since that video, like I said, some people have asked, how do you use the homemade spray base? So, very good question. I only talked about it at the end of the video, and I never really demonstrated it. Now, speaking of that, that's what we're going to do today. But I want to say, speaking of doing that, I thought at first that I would do like a small quilt, you know, fat quarter size or a mug rug, and I'd have it on a table. Now, I've seen other people do that. And I always notice in their comments, can you do it? Can you demo a larger quilt? So that is exactly where we're going to go with that. And I will tell you, I did in my sunroom on the floor, not ideal, but I wanted better lighting for you. So I went with that. So you'll be able to see that here in just a second. I do want to add a couple of things. Now, this is the bottle. Look, that's all I have left. I've had this, oh gosh, I don't even know, a year and a half, maybe a year, somewhere in there. I don't know. I'd have to go and look, but it lasts for a long, long time. Okay. When you do store it, I do recommend that you unscrew the top a little, because as it sits for a little bit, it will pull in space, the air, okay, because the rubbing alcohol evaporates in there, and it kind of it squeezes in your bottle. So you might want to just loosen it up just a little bit when you store it, not a whole bunch, because goodness happens if you knock it over, then we lose it all, right? But for storage purposes, and it, like I said, this is a year to year and a half old. Okay, I think it's like a year and a half. Anyway, the other thing that I want to tell you, if you do have it sit for a long time and you don't clean the nozzle, this is flour, and as it dries inside of this right here, if it does get dry in there, it'll clog it. So what I do now is, after use, I will go and wash out the nozzle to get rid of all that flour so it doesn't get clogged. It'll eventually come out using hot water, right? Because it's flour. It does release itself, but it's kind of a rigmarole. So it's easier if you just clean the nozzle after you're done. Okay. And I would say after, it's a 2-day event, right? That's one of the downsides to using homemade spray base, is I allow mine to dry overnight. I don't wash it that first one. It's after the second time, the day I come back and put the other side together with it, when I'm done using it and just completely finished, then I would go and clean it out. It's just a little heads up for you. Something I've learned, and yeah, it works great. I will tell you, I don't know how long. I would think for as long as you need it to, but I've never tested homemade spray base and then just let the quilt sit. I'm usually ready to quilt it when I go ahead and do that. So it's not something that I know how long that adhesive would last. But like I said, I would think it would last just as long as it is that you have it until you wash the quilt. So that's my guess, and I'm sticking to it. At any rate, let's go ahead and get this started so you guys can see how I use homemade spray base to get a larger-ish quilt done. So I'll see you in just a sec. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is lay the batting on the bottom, and then place your backing on top. And then I folded mine in half because I'm going to do half at a time. I find this is more manageable. But then you really want to give it a good spray. I probably could have used some more of the spray, but I was a little worried I was going to run out during the video. And everything is fine. You'll see at the end. But you do want to make sure that it's nice and wet. Once I'm done spraying on the batting, then I'm going to go ahead and spray half of the backing. Every now and again, you do want to give it a nice shake. Keep that solution from separating. And I also release some air. My particular spray bottle, it seems to collapse a little bit as I'm spraying. So every now and again, I may open it. But then you just go ahead and you smooth it out. Now, you don't want to pull too hard because you don't want to distort the fabric, because remember, it is wet. But you want to smooth it out. Now notice there is no tape, there are no clamps. For this method, you don't need it. Yep, just smooth it on out. Now this will take, I won't go to the next part until the next day. I allow it to completely air dry on its own. So I'll let it sit overnight once I'm done with this part, and we'll go from there. So once that first half's done, I'll take the bottom half that I have yet to do and flip that over. And when you do that, you just want to make sure you take the backing to the point where it goes to where it was wet. You want to make sure that you take it far enough, or you'll have like a little place that doesn't have any spray or any adhesive. No, you know, your basting spray here. Now this is not my preferred method. I don't do things on the floor anymore, but I wanted to really give the opportunity for you to see. Yep. It's a lot of work. At least being on the floor, it's really not hard. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and spray the second half. Again, you want to give it enough spray to make sure that it is wet. And your hands will get wet, and if you do it really well, they may be a little goopy. And a towel to have nearby would be really good. I didn't. Whoops. So I'm getting it everywhere on me, but that's okay. It's half the fun, right? Yep. I'm running a little lower. I still got another half of the quilt to do. A little nervous. So I'm going to go ahead and spray the other top of the backing. Found a little bling. It's always a nice time to clean up a little bit if you find any threads or, you know, our quilting bling. Again, I'm just smoothing it out. I am checking to make sure that I get it all. Now, Well, yep, I'm making sure it's nice and smooth. Now you could do this on your table if you have one large enough, and you can do it in sections. If you are worried, you can also do it on the floor like I do. And if you're worried about your floor at all for whatever reason, you could lay down a tablecloth or a flannel tablecloth to help protect your floor. Now, this little piece is an experiment, and I'll share with you on the Facebook Live, but it's 100% polyester, because they say with homemade spray based to only use it with natural fibers, so, or 80-20 blend of natural. Like I use this is an 80-20 under this quilt, and it's 80% cotton, 20% poly. That works too, but this is 100% polyester that I'm testing. But I'm going to let this dry. Like I said, both of them overnight. And I'll see you in just a sec. Okay, the first thing, this is day 2, so that's dry. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is flip it over so that your backing is on the bottom and your batting is on the top. And we're going to do that. I'm making sure everything's clean, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the quilt top. And I've gave myself extra room. I didn't cut the width of the batting, maybe? I don't know. I didn't cut one side, I don't think. But, so there's a lot of extra. You don't need quite that much. But I just want to get it so that I have enough around the edges when I go to quilt. And then I'm going to straighten it out a little bit. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did with the backing and the batting. So I'm going to fold it in half. Now I'm going to speed the video up here so you don't have to watch this whole thing in regular time again, because it's the exact same procedure. And then I will again let it dry overnight before everything's said and done. So I'm going to speed it up now. She's pretty much done. Time to let her dry. See you in just a sec. Okay, she's all done, guys. Woohoo! And it's not going anywhere. Look, I'll hang on to the edge up here so you can see just on the edge of the fabric. Yes, and the back. Gotta love this, guys. It is awesome. It's ready. Yes, it's ready to be quilted. So guess what I'm going to be doing? Quilting away it is. Get this on the finish list instead of the whip list. This sucker's been around for, oh my, probably almost 2 years, I think, and I've never quilted it. I got a long list like that. But yeah, she's done. That's how you use homemade spray base. I hope that was helpful, especially for those of you who asked. Never hesitate to ask, guys. There are a few other questions that I've had in the past, and I am working on them. And I always want you to know I am listening, I am hearing, and if I can, I'll definitely do it. If I know how, I will definitely do it for you. So just keep it up, guys, because this one was fantabulous. This was a great idea. I hope you appreciated it. I appreciate sharing with you, and I appreciate, now I'm going to get a quilt done, right? So we'll see how much I get finished by today. I will be on our live Q&A, live quilting and answer session on Facebook. Gosh, we are so close to going live on both platforms. It's not even funny, but we're going to be live on Facebook at 3 p.m. Eastern time because I'm here in Virginia. So if you want to come on out, if you have any questions, great time to ask. If not, if you're going to miss that and you want to ask a question or have a suggestion or a comment of any sort, go ahead and drop them down below. I do read those all, and I do my very best to respond to them as much as possible. I don't think I've missed one at all, but I'm there for you. So, and you can always contact me via email, Facebook Messenger. I'm here for you for that and that way too. So at any rate, thank you for those who asked. I'm sure there are other people in the same boat wondering how in the world and what does it look like. And I'm telling you, I'm excited about getting this quilted now. I'm super stoked, and I'll look forward to sharing the finish with you. But yeah, and I'm loading this one on the long arm, just so y'all know. That's coming up the chain because I'm still waiting on backing fabric. Long story. We'll share that later, right? Okay, so next week, what are we doing next week? Next week is another follow-up to a question somebody asked me for, and actually 2 questions. I'm combining them into the same video, so it's a small project or a big one. It'll be completely up to you, but I'm just going to do the how and demonstrate it for you and give you a little instruction. But until next week, or until 3 p.m. today Eastern time at Facebook, and until next time, may you all continue to be inspired, productive, ever so joyful, never stop believing, and never stop making your dreams in quilting come true. I love y'all. Happy quilting. See y'all soon.